Hey everybody, Rahul Shah, Doc Shah Financial, and in today's video, we're going to talk about inheriting a Roth IRA from a parent or inheriting a Roth IRA from a non-spouse. Put another way, if you are the beneficiary of your parent's Roth IRA or a non-spouse's Roth IRA, this video is for you. The first thing you need to do is open an inherited Roth IRA account. This is different from your own Roth IRA account. They're two different accounts. So you could have your own Roth IRA account, but if you're going to inherit your parents' Roth IRA account, for example, then you need to open a separate inherited Roth IRA account. When you do this on a brokerage site, it's actually you're opening an inherited IRA account, and then as you go through the application process, you'll be able to specify whether it's a Roth designation or it's just a traditional designation. But you need to open the inherited Roth IRA account first. Now that your inherited Roth IRA account is open, you can go ahead and transfer the deceased's funds that are in their Roth IRA to now your inherited Roth IRA. The process, you might need some help with that. You could call your brokerage house if you use Charles Schwab or Fidelity or E-Trade or whatever, or you could work with an advisor like myself. I do this for clients. Pretty simple and straightforward to do. And if you go through me, I'll actually manage your portfolio too, but more on that later. So now the question is, well, how do you actually access the funds? Are there rules behind that? And it's very simple. You have 10 years to liquidate that account. So your inherited Roth IRA account, you've now funded it with the deceased Roth IRA, and now you have 10 years to take money out of this account. There's one very important caveat though. The original Roth IRA, meaning the one that you inherited, had to have been open and funded for at least 5 years. A lot of people get this wrong. They think that the original account just had to have been open for 5 years. It's got to be open and funded for at least 5 years in order for all of your withdrawals from your inherited Roth IRA to be tax-free. Otherwise, what's going to happen is if that account, the original Roth IRA, wasn't open for 5 years, you are going to be subject to income tax on the earnings that you withdraw out of your inherited Roth IRA. The contributions will still be able to be withdrawn tax-free because those funds were already taxed when they went into that Roth IRA, but the earnings will be subject to income tax if that original Roth IRA was not open and funded for at least 5 years before you inherited it. So now let's assume that your inherited Roth IRA is good to go. You open the account, you transfer the funds in, that original Roth IRA from the deceased was open and funded for at least 5 years. Now you've got all this money, and like I said, you have 10 years to liquidate all this fund. So what would that really look like? Well, you could take a lump sum distribution, meaning that the day it hits your inherited Roth IRA account, you could just cash out and you could take that money and you can go do whatever you want. You could pay down debt, you could buy a house, buy a car, go to a strip club every Monday morning if you want. Probably wouldn't do that, but you can do whatever you want with this money if you take that lump sum distribution. Now, what are your other options? Well, you could actually do the reverse, which is you could still take a lump sum distribution, but instead of taking it on day one, you could take it the day before year 10 is over. And if you do it that way, well, you're actually letting your Roth IRA grow tax-free for another 10 years. So you could get a lot more growth and get a lot more tax-free money. I mean, 10 years is a long time. And if you know how to invest it, if you're working with someone like me and comes up with a really good plan for you, you might wind up with a lot more money in 10 years. Now, if you're not in either of those camps, if you want kind of a blended approach, you could do that too. You could front load your withdrawal. So you could take out more in the initial years and then less in the later years. Why would you do this? Well, you want to get a combination of both being able to enjoy the funds today and raise your standard of living today, but you still want to have some money, that's growing in the background for you in the future. That's a great strategy too. Or you could do the reverse of that strategy, which is you could end load your withdrawal. So you could take out a little bit today, but let the majority of it grow tax-free. So you still get to enjoy, the raising your standard of living today because you're accessing some of those funds, but the majority is going to grow tax-free in the background. And so ultimately you'll get even more when you pull it out in the future. All of these strategies are perfectly fine. It really just depends on you, your individual goals, your risk tolerance, your objectives. So the question really becomes, how do you invest in this inherited Roth IRA? What you don't want is to come into a large lump sum of money, have no idea how to invest it, no idea the tax implications, because there are a lot more nuances to this. By the way, this is just a very general overview, but you don't want to get into trouble with the IRS, and you also don't want to get into trouble where you just don't plan, and you wind up in a situation where you didn't really get what you could have out of that money. So there's a lot of different ways that you can invest it. You can do growth allocations, you can do income allocations. If you want to keep that money in the account for 10 years and you want to be aggressive with it, that could make sense in certain circumstances. Maybe you don't want to be aggressive with it, but you just want to have some, dividend income thrown off every single month or quarter or whatever. That's perfectly fine too. There's so many ways that you can go about doing it. The point is, whether you work through me or do it through yourself, have a plan and stick to that plan. So lastly, just to recap, you inherited a Roth IRA from a parent or a non-spouse. You opened an inherited Roth IRA account and you transferred those funds into it. You have a 10-year window to liquidate that account. That means bring the balance to zero. You can do it at any pace you want. You can do a lump sum, you can front load it, you can end load it, however you want to do it is totally fine. And remember, that original account needs to have been opened and funded for at least 5 years for all of your withdrawals to be tax-free. So I hope you found help in this video. And if you need additional help, shoot me an email, raul@docsharefinancial.com. I am taking on clients. I do full service financial planning and investment management. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.